OK, horses ambling down for the third race, and it is the first division of the Paddy Power EBF Restricted Maiden Stakes. This is for horses bought in Band D, and as such, some of the lower price tags, but doesn't always necessarily translate to the most successful. And just as a look at the market ahead of this 6:30, Parole Officer 6 to 5, Havana Smile 3 to 1. On third start for Gary and Josh Moore and Tom Quayle. Bergamo Gold now 5 to 1, and she's been supported ahead of her first start. Lion of Marley is 6 to 1. James Fanshawe, the trainer, they had a winner elsewhere earlier. Hacking Adra, I think, looks overpriced 10 to 1. That's my view. Marwan is 12 to 1. Blake Fell 18 to 1. Yeah Boy 300 to 1. Along with Hello Humphrey, and the non-runner is Mascato. So top of the market for Sean Woods, who's already had a winner with Boozy Brunch. That one was ridden by Jason Watson. Jack Doughty takes the ride on Parole Officer, who's got a BHA rating of 73 after the 3 starts. They could have gone down the nursery route, but has run creditable runs so far, to say the least. Not least behind Herrengroin last time out. Was a good effort. Seems to be progressing without winning just yet, but that could all change. As I said, they could have gone down the nursery route. And, well, this horse has already run well here, which is a bit of a tick in the box because it's not always a guarantee that they're going to act around here. This horse has. Runner-up at Epsom to Herrengroin last time. 3 runs thus far. Plenty to talk about, though. Havana Smiles had a couple of starts. They're mixing trips, 6 to 5 back to up in trip, and actually up further in trip to 7 furlongs, which a bit of a question, but remains pretty prominent in the market. Was 3 to 1 earlier and remains pretty solid there. Significantly up in trip for Gary and Josh Moore. Down to the 5 last time at Sandown, having debuted at 6, I think did run well, and has run well to show speed down over 5, but they're obviously pretty happy that this Havana Grey Colt's going to get the 7, no problem. Good improvement run 1 to run 2, and further improvement would see the horse surely on the premises. As I said, I do like Hacking Adra, who was 9 to 2 earlier, which I thought enticed me a little bit. The idea that horse is now double that and then some at 10 to 1 looks too big. Might find out in a few moments' time exactly why that is. By our dad out of Lady Lynetta for Alice Haynes, who's here in the colours of Khalifa Dasmal. Finished third at Newcastle back in June, some 56 days ago. And the second has since won. The 5th has won as well. In fact, the second's won twice since. And for a horse that only cost, I think, £1,000, it's not a bad pedigree and has already shown an ability on the track. And I thought 10 to 1 just looks too big. As said, maybe in a few moments' time we'll find out that it's anything but. Some very, very big price horses in here. Some of them, though, a little bit shorter than they were. And Bergamo Gold's just that. She's a debuting filly by 10 sovereigns. She was €28,000 as a foal. Almost half of that as a yearling gets her into this race. She's a half-sibling of the absolute star for the yard, juvenile star a few years ago, nearly a decade ago, or was a decade ago, Buratino. She's got a very nice pedigree. There's loads of winners trained in Midland by Mark Johnson in the past. And in the Kingsley Park Silks, they've, I think, had a couple of them and done well with them. Lion of Marley for James Fanshawe, who's yet to have a winner in the juvenile ranks, but I think has only had getting on for 10 or 11 runners. And they're just getting the note from Tom Fanshawe, the assistant, and of course son of the trainer, very much of the opinion that they're looking forward to the 2-year-olds who are yet to start. Maybe this is one of them. First foal out of the same owner breed as Satanti Girl, who was a dual 7 furlong winner. And if you're a fan of such things, you won't mind seeing that the Dam one on debut. And Lion of Marley looking to emulate his mother. Another market check, and sees it that Parole Officer's 8 to 11 and really hardened up from odds against earlier. Goes 10 to 11, 5 to 6, 4 to 5, 8 to 11. Havana Smile 3 to 1. Lion of Marley about 13 to 2. Same price as Bergamo Gold. Hacking Adra at 10 to 1. Marwan, who we didn't talk about, 14 to 1. And it's Blake Fell 20 to 1. Marwan, twice raced colt by time test, stepping up to 7 furlongs. Gets a mark after this. Now, I believe the horse has run to a reasonable level. For Hilal Kabaisi, Fale Buganam takes the ride, drawn in stall 8, and as mentioned, gets the mark to potentially go down the nursery route after this. Blake Fell is a gelded son of Cody Bear on first start. Out of a dual Dundalk winner, Catherine Lee, so she certainly knew how to win on the poly track. 10,000 guineas at book 3, having been over treble that as a foal, so the price really did fall down to yearling. Furtado, I don't think has struck with a juvenile. I think there was one yesterday, but a runner yesterday, but 0 from 28 I had it when looking at this yesterday with the juveniles. So they'll be looking for that to change. It's been a little in and out in recent times for the trainer. Had a few winners, but generally speaking, less than ideal year. Yes, 0 from 28 with the juveniles. 14 winners all told this year. But they'll be hoping to strike with a juvenile at least a couple of times before the end of the year, I'm sure. 0 from 26 with the juveniles last year. It's not the most rich sorts of 2-year-old winners, but did have a couple of winners back in 2023. So yard not prolific or particularly well known for 2-year-old winners. So still to go forward, Blakefell, jig jogs in, Hakin Adrar in those dreamer head silks of Khalifa Dasmal. One of the interesting debutants as well, Bergamo Gold, and the very big price Hello Humphrey, and that should complete a line for the first division of the restricted maiden.
Last couple have moved in. And they're off, racing away. 7 furlongs for Division 1 of the Paddy Power EBF Restricted Maiden Stakes. And beginning well was Parole Officer in maroon and yellow colours. Marwan's right up there. Charging forward as well as big outsider Hello Humphrey to complete the leading trio. Right in behind them is Hakin Adrar in those pink silks, followed to the inside by the purple and pink of Havana Smile. Bergamo Gold just in behind the speed there in front of Havana Smile at that point. Ridden along for more early on is Line of Marley. Blakefell is caught in the kickback and Yeah Boy is comprehensively outpaced at the back. On towards the end of the far side then. Parole Officer leading from in second placing Hello Humphrey. Bergamo Gold in third. Marwan fourth. Hakin Adrar next in fifth. Then Havana Smile is just still tracking through to the inside. Shaking up his Line of Marley. Then Blakefell and Yeah Boy continues to trail them. They're racing now back towards the top of the home straight and towards the final 2 furlongs. It is Parole Officer from Hello Humphrey. Marwan towards the outside, the black cap, as Parole Officer makes that run pretty wide into the home straight. Hakin Adrar on the pink is now trying to play catch-up. Bergamo Gold now beaten. They're racing down towards the final furlong. Marwan towards the outside has now moved into the lead from Hello Humphrey. Then came Parole Officer and Hakin Adrar back in fourth. That is Marwan drifting over towards that far running rail. Is going to be home in front at the line. Marwan from a massive run in second from Hello Humphrey. Then Parole Officer Hakin Adrar clear from Line of Marley and Blakefell.
Marwan has won and is how far clear at the line? Length and a quarter, length and a half or so. You see the rider of Hello Humphrey, Joey Haynes, clearly having a word with Falai Buganame. Penny for his thoughts, given the fact that he was impeded in his chance on a horse that was a ridiculously big price. Hello Humphrey, unless I've got that completely wrong, was about 250, 300 to 1. And in truth, has run a very, very good race. Market was not expecting that, but Marwan it is who's won the race, and well, length and a half or so clear. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a look into the race thereafter, but wouldn't anticipate anything's going to be changing. Marwan, a twice-race colt by time test prior to this, stepping up in trip to 7 furlongs for the first time, has won. He's run to a reasonable enough level, was 5th of 8 at Pontefract over 6 furlongs when last seen 15 days ago. And whether or not they had an eye on Nursery Company further down the line, maybe that's changed the plans. Well done to Hilal Karbeisi, the trainer. Debrief going on as well, one of the 2 of the riders. But yeah, huge run, absolutely huge run from Hello Humphrey. It was, I noted 200 to 1 earlier. I'm sure the big screen suggested 300 to 1 or thereabouts. Twice race who hadn't achieved much at all and had the widest draw out in 10. 2 very, very big priced efforts and now a third. gets a mark after this, but you can scratch what the horse had done prior, because it's all been left behind now to go and run quite as he has done there.